What's going on, everybody? Welcome back for another video. Today, I'm joined alongside Troy and Fred once again. Boys, how we doing?
Great.
Amazing. Can't complain.
Another great weekend.
Absolutely.
Today, we're going to be doing a video discussing the All-Star Game. Voting for All-Star Game just came out a couple days ago, and with it being open, I thought it would be a good opportunity to have a video and kind of discuss who we have as our starters, not necessarily breaking down the full roster. Today, we'll be more or less focused on starting five. But yeah, we're going to go through and list our starting fives and we're going to have like a kind of question rapid fire round as well. And then discuss some ideas and some thoughts alongside with who we think should be there and what ultimately what we should do with the All-Star Game this year. And so before we get started, you guys, what do you think about the All-Star voting this year? I think it's a lot more difficult than it's ever been.
Yeah, I was kind of doing some like preview to like kind of see, and it was difficult picking five from each conference. Even if they did away with the conference voting, I think it'd still be even.
It's probably even harder.
Yeah, I was about to say it could be even more difficult, but yeah, it's a weird year for sure, especially with a few guys playing more games and these guys getting canceled and postponed. But relatively, I think it's it's still going to be a fun weekend, hopefully. And Fred, what do you think?
I think they're doing the best they can. I think it'll turn out just fine, especially with the circumstances. So that's how I look at it with everything with sports nowadays. It's like, well, they're just doing the best they can.
Yeah, seriously.
As long as they play, I think it's
this year's really hard because of obviously everything COVID related, and you have guys that that are putting up really good numbers, but probably aren't playing as many games as it would normally take to like get voting. And you have teams that like aren't playing the same amount of games because of cancellations and whatnot. And so it's interesting. And I think there's like if they're going to switch anything up with All-Star voting, I think this is the year to kind of try it. But before the season started, they announced that there wasn't going to be an All-Star Game, and now they're kind of leading into it. And so with that topic, we're going to kind of lean into something different. We're going to try something out this video, and it's a rapid fire question. So I have 3 questions in front of me for Troy and Fred. I'm gonna give them a minute each to answer, and each round I'll pick a winner, and then at the best 2 out of 3, whoever wins ultimately takes the crown of the inaugural rapid fire question game.
I'm coming for the crown, man. Coming for the crown.
So yeah. So speaking about the All-Star Game, Troy, we'll start with you. A minute on the clock. We'll do. Should there be an All-Star Game? You ready?
Yeah. Oh
right.
Yeah, I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah. There should be an All-Star Game. These guys are already playing against each other almost nightly. Even if they did some sort of like, if they extended the All-Star break and kind of gave guys like a 2-week window to be off, a week, they go to like an All-Star bubble type thing and put on the whole weekend in a, neutralized area where there can't be contact with COVID and such. So extend the All-Star break would be my pitch, and do a little bubble-esque All-Star Game, the most bubble you can get in the middle of the season.
30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm done. That's my pitch, man. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, everything you said, I think I listened to a podcast breaking it down, and I mean, they basically said the same thing. And this topic is so really hard, so I'm interested to see where Fred goes. But I mean,
I never heard that question, so that I was like, wow, because I thought it would be like everybody wants it, obviously, but it'd be interesting to hear why somebody wouldn't. That would be intriguing.
Yeah. All right, Fred, you ready?
I'm ready.
1 minute on the clock. Go.
I don't think they should play the All-Star Game.
Okay.
I do not think they should play the All-Star Game. I think it's too risky, and I don't think it would work out very well for me. And especially with this year, like you've already mentioned, like these guys are – some guys played some games, some guys haven't. Like we don't even know who really are the All-Stars. I just think there'd be a lot of debate with why this guy's playing, why this guy's not playing. And just with the contract tracing, they play each other every night, but you have a lot of different guys from a lot of different teams all together at once now. So I think it just could cause a lot of problems. What it's working right now, what they're doing, I think they should just play a full season, get it over with, and then go into a bubble for the playoffs. And then
something I would throw out, if they don't do it the NFL way. Don't do a video game style. That's stupid.
No.
Yeah, I just don't think they should have it this year. I just think they need to just do what they're doing. I think they've done
take the dub, give them a few weeks off, and go.
Yeah.
So Fred, you bring up a really good point, and I when I thought about the All-Star Game, that's what ultimately I was leaning towards was it's way too risky.
Mhm.
You know, with everybody coming in and then going right back out. Like if somebody gets it at all, that's like pretty much every team is affected at that.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
almost every team.
right.
Um, and also when the season started, they had talked about the All-Star break being for making up games. You know what I mean? That's what I had heard was if we're not gonna have an All-Star game, that break will be to make up games that are canceled.
Mm.
And so
Then it's
for
not a
all of the,
break.
there would be a break to make up the games. That's what I was told. That's what I heard.
Is that like they get time off and then play the postponed games? But then
I'm
there's not a break because then teams are playing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get that, but it's like I think if I remember correctly, the break was no scheduled games during that time, so that way if you had a canceled game, you could play it then. You know what
So
I
like
mean?
the teams
Makes
that
sense.
are the teams that get kind of lucky, like the Lakers have been very lucky so far with no postponements. Like they kind of get their break, but then, like the Wizards or the Grizzlies or those kind of teams that have really been struggling. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes
So
sense.
I think with all those reasons, I lean with Fred winning this round. I just think it's too risky with everything going on this year. The basketball's been really good. We still have a lot of games being canceled like throughout the week, and so it's like I just don't want to take that risk and not have any basketball at all. So round one goes to Fred. So round two, we'll start with Fred this time.
Cool.
Should voting be positionless? Ready?
Ready?
Go.
No, it should not be positionless. It should be point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center. I think it's just how a basketball game is going to be played anyway. Like, let's keep it. I mean, let's be honest here, man. I mean, if we're talking the All-Star game, you think of the 5 best players at their position on the floor.
Okay.
So or even if it's 2 guards and 3 forwards, how it is, whatever, however you want to say it. But I just don't think you should just have 5, 6'11" super athletic guys, which they could do. I just don't like that. I think everybody should have a chance to be able to start in the All-Star game because they're the best player at their position.
Okay. All right. I can't necessarily disagree with that. I mean, that's how voting's been all along, and the All-Star game's always been entertaining, nonetheless. So you can't disagree. But Troy, you ready?
Sure.
All right, let's go.
I'm gonna disagree. Why not? And
So, yes?
they should, yeah, they should make it positionless because that's the way the game's going anyway. But whenever you get down to the nitty gritty of things, when it's winning time, when it's winning basketball, you normally don't see a true 5 out there. The Lakers run a lineup, and I say the Lakers because I watch them every day. The Lakers run Anthony Davis at the 5, LeBron at the 4, and then they throw out 3 guys that can shoot. And that's just kind of the way the game's going. And at the end of the day, if you want Giannis in there at the center spot, if you want AD at the center spot, so what? That's the way the game's going. And I just think that it makes sense because the phrase positionless basketball has been used so much recently, and that's just the way the game's going. So I would side with the positionless voting.
All right. So we got Troy saying yes, it should be positionless, and Fred saying no, that's how basketball is played. And I'd have to disagree, Fred. I don't think basketball is played that way anymore at all. I think for all the reasons Troy said.
I didn't say it was. I said I think it should be played or how it should be played. That's just a personal thought of mine. I just always
I get it. But I think with the way the NBA is nowadays, and the skill that all these guys have, you have LeBron starting at point guard sometimes, and then like Troy said, closing games as a 4. You have Jokic bringing up the ball a whole lot during his game. You have him and Embiid, big guys like that their game has expanded so much that I don't really think there are. That's like, and you gotta have a guy like Draymond Green who has revolutionized like the positionless basketball. You know what I mean? And the guys that kind of have like play like him coming into the league now that look up to him in that aspect of like being versatile on the court completely.
Yeah.
And so for that, I'm gonna side with Troy here. I don't think it should. I think it should be positionless as well. To get rid of like voting for 2 guards and 3 forwards.
I just think it would be hard when a 6'1" guard's averaging 28 points and Kawhi Leonard's right across from him because that's who they started the guard. I just don't think.
I mean, but at the same time, it's the All-Star game. You don't really defense isn't as much. Okay, it is kind of now with the way they've changed the game up a little bit.
That's in the 4th quarter where they start like really buckling down trying to win.
I think if it's All-Star, just get the 10 best players in the league out there. I don't care if you put Jokic.
Well, I don't even think there should be fan voting, but that's just from my opinion.
I don't think fan voting should be as much as it is.
Should just be the 10, like you said, 10 best players, but at the
No,
positions.
let the fans choose. Come on. You guys have no fun.
No, let them choose. Yeah, but I don't think it should register as much because it's like you've seen Zaza Pachulia get a ton of votes one year from fans. You know what I'm saying?
The fans love them. If the fans want them, get them there. And if the fans ever pulled off something like that, wow.
Yeah.
Hats off to the NBA fans if they somehow pull
No,
something off
because
like
then he'll take
Well,
a
I guess
spot
at
to
the
a guy
same
who
time,
deserves it, though.
My argument's kind of invalid because, like, as much as he got voted for, he didn't make it anyway. So
Yeah, like these guys aren't going to make it because the
I
All-Star
talked myself
voting
out of it.
only matters for the starters. Like, it's not like you're voting reserves on. The coaches pick all that.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah,
there's no way that a guy like Alex Caruso, Taco Fall, one of those guys is going to end up an All-Star starter. Like, there's 0% chance.
Yeah, I agree. I talked myself out of it really quick. So yeah, round 2 goes to Troy. So we're tied up here 1-1. Round 3 being the establishing factor of who wins here. So we'll start with Troy again. And this one is, should wins be accounted for? I think in the past you've seen it be held against guys when it comes to how well their team is doing. A guy like Bradley Beal last year, who's putting up really good numbers, who ultimately didn't get voted in. So I think if you're gonna not account team record, this is the year to start because of how many games guys have missed and all the uncertainty going on. But at the same time, I could also make the argument that team record obviously matters, and so I'm interested to see where both of you go. But Troy, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's get it going.
I don't think team record should matter. I think that it's an all-star game for a reason. You get the best players out there. Some guys are, and if you want to see these guys live out in small markets, they shouldn't hold team record against them because they've kind of put the thought in everybody's mind. The only way you can win an award, the only way you can make an all-star game is to be on a winning team. So if you don't want to see these small market hoopers like Bradley Beal, who's about to get out of there and go to a big market and play for a good team because he wants to play for a winner and get some respect that he deserves, then don't hold teams' records. Like, the NBA and fans want to cry and complain when a guy like, these guys start complaining about their role and want to get out and go somewhere that wins. Stop holding it so much against them then whenever their team is 3-5, 3-15, or 3-18 just because the guys around them are awful.
10 seconds.
I'm done.
All right, cool. All right, yeah. Good, really good points there. But Fred, I can tell this man disagrees. So we'll switch it over to Fred. You ready?
Yep, go ahead.
Go for it.
Yes, it should matter. My favorite stat in any sport is in the MLB is wins above replacement, which is WAR, which gets accounted for more than any other stat in baseball because wins matter, and wins matter to the good players. So yes, a player who is on a losing team who's won 3 games this year, yeah, they're averaging 30 plus points, but they're not helping their team win, obviously. And I'd rather have a guy who's helping his team win because if they were in a bigger market playing for a good team, their numbers would be down anyway. So that's just me. I think.
And I have a question. I have a question to interject here.
Can I get my minute? Can I get my minute? Hold up.
Okay.
Yeah, you can finish.
Yeah.
Finish your
No,
thought.
ask the question. No, I'm fired up now.
Luka
Ask the question.
Doncic right now, his team has a losing record.
Yeah.
By more than 2 games, by more than 3, like by 4 games, they have a losing record. Are you holding it against him?
Yeah, sure.
Is he in your starters?
Not right now.
Okay. Intriguing.
This one's tough. This one's
Yeah,
really,
but
really
when does All-Star voting end?
it's still got a bit.
It's still got like
Yeah,
a month.
exactly.
Yeah,
first half of
that's
the
why we're
season's
just
got
kind of
about a month
that's why this video is more or less focusing on starters because it's like let these. I think the starters, for the most part, like they're gonna be in the starting. Like they're gonna be starting in a month from now. Where it's like you could see a couple guys sneak into a bench spot later on. So that's why we're focusing more or less on starters.
I think a player's values is more if their team's win, or like if they're winning because they're helping their team win. That's the goal of them playing, right?
Yeah, but
Don't
sometimes
disagree.
you
It's not the
can't
it's not
help.
the points they're scoring.
Sometimes you can't help though. An organization.
don't
not putting good
disagree.
Guys around you.
I don't disagree with either one of you. I think both of you got up really good points. But I think this is the year where wins should not be accounted for. Just with everything going on this year, just with on the uncertainty and like a guy like Bradley Beal, for example. Russell Westbrook's been hurt. You have guys coming in and out, like Luka Doncic, like how you brought up, like Josh Richardson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Dwight Powell, Maxi Kleba, guys like that are missing.
Well,
not even because they're hurt.
But I mean, they're 8-12. It's not like they're 3-12. Like I think there's a big difference there.
Yeah. Yeah, but at the same time, you've seen where it's like, I think Trae Young is obviously the most recent example that I can bring up from last year, where he got a starting spot and their record was really, really bad. But for the most part, it's like if you're not 500, you good luck getting in there. But I think this is the year where it's like, you know what, screw any of the records, screw whatever else you put into consideration.
I think when it comes down to like whenever you're trying to decide who gets like the last few bench spots, like for instance, if it was like between like a Russell Westbrook and a Kyle Lowry, I think then we should start talking about win-loss, what they do.
Okay.
And like I think for the last few, I don't think for the top guys who are the best players in the league, and we all know it. But just because we're going to be like, he can't be a starter, we're going to hold this accomplishment from him just because his team is awful. I don't think that. And, Bradley Beal is another one I'm going to harp on. It's because it's recent right now.
Yeah.
Like the guy is doing what he can to put other guys in position to succeed and for his team to succeed. But they can't get a stop to save their life, and they can't do other things, and that's not all on Bradley Beal's shoulders. And I don't think he should be the one taking the bullet for that one, where it should be the GM, the coach, the group of guys they put around him. They've had him for however many years, and they still haven't put together a good team for him.
So, with all of that, I'm going to go with Troy for this one. Like I said, I think this is a year where don't take any of that into consideration. So with that being said, Troy, first winner of the rapid fire game.
Turn me up, man. Turn me up.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. I'm hoping to incorporate that in more videos as we go along. And I think you can, that games like this, you can do with any topic at any point.
Yeah.
So sure. we'll look more for it and later on, and Troy can defend his title as we go on.
Yeah, tell us if you like it, guys, down below. If you like this game or we'll try to incorporate some other stuff as well. But
okay. So we're gonna transition now. And focus more on who we have with our starting fives on each conference. But before we do that, I'm curious if there is any first-time All-Stars that you guys have put in that you think should be considered into the starting five. A guy that's not made it before that will this year.
I have one guy in the starting and out of 10.
Fred, how about you?
I have two.
Two. Okay. Two. I have one as well. Troy, who do you have?
Oh, you wanted Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown. First time. Yeah, I also have Jaylen Brown. Fred, we can all assume you also have Jaylen Brown.
I have Jaylen Brown and Christian Wood.
Christian Wood. Oh, wow.
Getting a little froggy.
Make the case for Christian Wood right now.
Well, he's a losing record. But did I say that because I just wanted to debate? No, I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. I don't know. I just think it's fun.
He's a fun guy. Dude, he's so much fun to watch. He's just
averaging almost 11 rebounds a game, decent field goal percentage, averaging close to 24 points a game. It affects the game in a lot of different ways. And
all the Houston Rocket drama, as Caleb's alluded to many times in the videos, you know, and for that guy just to be a consistent rock in that offense, I'm not disagreeing. I would like.
I haven't even thought about him. Well, like
I just like him more than I like Kawhi, PG, Zion, and Brandon in that spot.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to get into our lineups, Caleb? Like, do you want to go Western Conference first, and then we all list our lineups, and then go?
There's
Eastern
one more
Conference?
question. One more question that I just thought of, and this is maybe not necessarily as much for starting five, but overall, I wanted to ask this before I forgot about it. Is there anyone that you want to make the All-Star game that you think won't?
Julius Randle.
Okay. Gordon Hayward.
Hayward. Okay.
He deserves it.
I have
both
him or Jeremy Grant.
covered.
Him or I don't see Jeremy World. I might even put Jeremy Grant my starters. But
yeah, Gordon Hayward's one of those who came off that injury. Everybody was saying he was washed. Got a huge contract. He's up there.
22, 6, and 11.
Yeah, that's
and then,
11 rebounds or 11 assists.
Rebound, 6 assists, 22 points.
Nice. Yeah, that's
44% from the field. 44% is not bad either.
That's solid. No. That's really, really
especially
solid.
With like I like that Hornets team. They're really fun to watch. And then Julius Randle, both fighting through. They've recovered from huge injuries, both of them. And Julius Randle, a rock solid stud. He's averaging. I actually wrote him down: 22 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 47% from the field. You know, the Knicks are actually competing with really good teams now, and he's the rock. He's the rock of that team. So
yeah,
I like to see Malcolm Brogdon make the All-Star game.
That's a guy. And yeah,
Sexton.
Yeah, exactly. Here's what I was going to bring up. I'm going to bring up point guard and center right here. I don't think the Cavs get 2 All-Stars. And so I think it
They
comes
should.
down to either Sexton or Drummond. And I think Sexton might get it. Because Troy, a guy that you're high on, Vucevic, I don't know if you can, because I think Sabonis is a lock for reserve. But I think Vucevic, Sabonis, and Drummond, I don't know if all 3 of them make it. You know what I mean? So it's like at that point, I could see Sabonis and Vucevic getting the nod over Drummond. Whereas like for guards in the East, you have like a Brogdon maybe and a Trae Young, guys like that, where I think you could lean more towards putting more guards on a team than bigs, especially coming off the bench.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if Drummond gets it. I'll be honest. And as much as like he's been,
I love Drummond. I'm
he's a
obsessed
big
with
factor for the Cavs, but it's like
I'm sure he's in your starters.
No, he's not. But dude, he was my second choice. If I'm being honest, like I think he's the second best. Like when it comes down to just statistical dominance, he does it night in, night out.
Yeah. So it's like that's really, really tough. And so I if I had to pick, I would say Drummond doesn't get it over Sexton, but at the same time,
See, I would choose Drummond over Sabonis, over Vucevic, over all those guys. I would choose Drummond. But that's just
so then. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could make that, but
I agree with that.
But I would leave Sexton off. I wouldn't put Sexton in a reserve spot.
Okay.
You wouldn't give him an all-star spot at all.
No, because the guy you just named, Gordon Hayward, I would put him in.
Yeah.
And then
the East reserves are tough because you have guys like Bam, Sabonis,
and
Hayward.
Jimmy Butler just got back, and he's going to start making his case because guy.
So it's like, dude, this is really, really tough. But we won't focus too much on the reserves. But that was just something I kind of wanted to throw out there.
We'll do a reserve episode.
I might ask
later.
that question. I'll probably ask that question whenever we do another All-Star video. But yeah, let's transition into our starting fives. You guys want to start with the East or the West?
Let's do West.
West. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I feel like this one's tough because
you want to go point guard. You list point guard, then we all list point guard, or do you just want to go starting 5?
Just name your starting 5. Let's just do that. Let's switch.
All right. You want me to start?
Go ahead.
All right. My starting 1 is Steph Curry. 27.7 points per game, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. His team's 11-9. Everybody was doubting Steph coming into the year. He's played 20 games. I love Steph there. My 2, I'd put Damian Lillard, another guy. He's averaging right at 30 points per game, 7.5 assists, 4.5 rebounds, 46 field goal percentage, 46% from the field. Again, another guy who kind of started out a little slower and has ramped it up of late. Another team, 10-8. The Blazers still keeping their head in, poking their head around. At my 3, I would put Luka Doncic.
Yep.
Just one of those guys. I don't think records matter. He's one of the best players in the league, period, point blank. 27, 9-9. Like, that's just unbelievable. I don't care who you are. And then at my 4, I got my MVP favorite, LeBron James. 25 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, 7.5 assists. He's played every game this season. 49% from the field. Lakers are 15-6. And then my center is Nikola Jokic. 25.7 points per game, 11.5 rebounds, 8.7 assists, 57. And it's crazy. Out of all 10 guys that I have, he's 3rd in assist, and he's a center. Like, that's just he averaged more assists than LeBron, Steph, Damian Lillard, all those guys, and that's just crazy. And he averages more assists than Trae Young as well, which is also a fact that I thought was crazy. So,
can you make a case? I think you obviously could, but do you make a case for AD in there over Luka or Dame and moving LeBron down?
Not right now.
Not right now. I agree.
Not yet.
Have you think AD's played at all?
No, he's actually
he said himself he's struggling. Like, he came out and said it. So it's like
crazy the fact that he is struggling and he still is like 23 points per game, right? Or probably around. I haven't looked at his stats just because
I'm gonna look him up real quick.
Yeah, I haven't thought about it, but probably around 7 to 8 rebounds. Watching him whenever he tries is so beautiful, but whenever he's just going through the motions, not really trying, he is like a drag to watch.
He is right now. He's played 18 games, 22.2 points, 9 rebounds, 3.4 assists, 51 from the field, and 33 from 3.
And he's struggling. So
and 70% from the free throw line,
which is career low.
Yeah. So
Which for most guys, like if Giannis is shooting 70%, we're throwing
that's
a parade.
great.
Yeah, we're throwing a parade. But
Yeah.
Anthony Davis, like those stats that you just list, is a guy struggling. Like
Yeah, seriously. That's a blessing.
That's career years for some guys. Like,
Yeah.
and that's just unbelievable. But yeah, I can't make the case. I love Anthony Davis, one of my favorite players in the league. But I can't make the case for him starting over any of the guys I just named.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I like your 5. Can't just like this is one where it's like you're gonna have to really throw a random name out there for me to strongly disagree.
And the reason I was asking Fred about that Luka Kawhi, because I put would I switch Kawhi for Luka, because Kawhi's playing on an absolute dominant team right now with the Clippers, and he's putting up really solid numbers. Almost 26 points per game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and over 50% shooting. So like that's why I threw that question earlier, Fred. And I'm sure we'll hear your starters here soon, like next. But man, that's the question. I think Luka and Kawhi are the two that I was debating the most at my 3. It was really hard, but I went with Luka.
All right, Fred, give it to me.
Luka, I'm going 1. He's just too good. I know they're 8-12, and I just got done talking about the wins above replacement, but
yeah.
I mean,
some guys are just too good, man.
Yeah. Well, 8-12. I mean, 8-12. It's so early. I don't think. I think I put them there because I don't think they're gonna have a losing record when the game actually.
I don't know. I'm a little bit worried about the Mavs. I'll be honest. And we can break that down in another video. But okay. So you got Luka at the 1.
Yep. I got Damian Lillard at my 2.
Okay.
Or one. My 2 guards. I went 2 guards, 3 forwards.
Positionless.
Nah, I went 2 guards, 3 forwards.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
So Dame tearing it up, almost 30 points a game. Enough said. I've never been that big of a fan of Damian Lillard, but
it's hard not to be, I think.
Yeah, it's hard not. I mean, he hit a gamer last night. That was insane.
He's tough.
My front court, I got LeBron. Plain and simple, I think I agree with Troy. He's my MVP. Either him or the next guy, which is Nikola Jokic. Easily the best center in the NBA, I think, right now. I think him and Joel are pretty much 1 and 2, respectively. And then my 3rd, I got Christian Wood down there.
Okay. Christian Wood threw me off. I'll be honest. Troy, I know you probably agree as well. He kind of, surprised. The only argument
Steph's not in there.
That's the thing is argument for Christian Wood is I think a lot of the times with NBA you see superstar bias. So it's like a guy that's never made the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna like a lot of times. I think Shea's a perfect example of this, and we can break him down later. Where it's like, yeah, you're putting up really good numbers, but there's a guy that's already been an established All-Star. He's been an All-Star before, and we're gonna give him the nod because
that's how it is like with Chris Paul every year.
Yeah, so it's like a guy like Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook in the past, guys that they might not be putting up as good of numbers as someone else, but it's like, oh, they're an established superstar. They're an established All-Star.
Westbrook makes it this year, I will.
No, he won't. Absolutely.
Wait, why? Why not? I mean,
it's terrible. He's not a good player.
Fred, he's shooting horribly. He's playing.
Oh, well.
Every time I watch him, I literally want.
I don't like Russell Westbrook either. I thought he was averaging more points. I thought he was averaging a triple double when he's close.
Dude's a hardworking kid, but good God Almighty, make the ball in the basket and play winning basketball.
Do I think Christian Wood's going to be a starter? Really? Probably not. I'm just having a little fun with it, but I'd like to see him as a reserve. I really hope he's a reserve.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I think he could be a starter though. I think it'd be really cool to see.
Okay. I'll go to mine. I've got Steph. He's putting up good numbers, and I was back and forth on how I thought the Warriors would do, and I mean he's the heart and soul of that team, obviously. So I give the nod to Steph. I'm gonna go Luka at my 2. The numbers he's putting up really, really tough. You have to give him the nod, no matter how much they're struggling and whatnot. LeBron at the 3, I think that's clear for everyone. Yeah, I don't have Dame. Just just to throw another name out there, that one that didn't get it, I'll give Kawhi the nod here for me. Kawhi's stats really tough. He's putting up 26, 5 and 6 on 50, 40, 90. Like 50, 40, 90, man. I know, and he hasn't played every game. He's missed some with contact tracing, whatnot. But I'm gonna give him the nod. I think his stats, it's really, really tough, and I like that a lot. And then for the 5, another unanimous one is Jokic. Jokic in the top votes for MVP. So
Mhm.
I say for the most part we agree. The only places we differ is Dame, because I don't have Dame, and then Christian Wood and
Yeah.
Kawhi. Yeah, I don't even know if Luka's a lock, honestly. And that's like I just see people giving Dame the nod because they have the winning record over Luka.
I mean, they could go Steph and Dame, and
Yeah, I think it's really tough.
Luke is so
Um,
good though. I think he's the best guard in the West
Yeah. Is there anyone else in the West that you could make
this
an
year,
argument-
Troy. Because Clay with Steph is different.
I'd see. I would still take Damian and Steph over him right now.
over Luka?
Like as a player.
Maybe not Dame, but Steph.
Well, because you had, I mean, you're talking
Yeah,
about
not
this
Dame.
year,
Not Dame.
or
Steph.
like,
Steph, I would take over.
well, did you have Steph over him in your top 10?
No. Luka was 6. Steph was 5.
Okay.
I think is what I did.
So, is there any case you can make for any other guy in the
Um,
West to start?
guard, well, I mean, dude, CJ McCollum's good.
He's hurt though. Hopefully he gets
Starting, probably not.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, if I could see them going Zion just for fun, you know.
I don't even know if Zion gets the
Dude,
nod.
I wish Cat could stay healthy, bro.
I think
Dude's
Zion.
averaging 22
I think
and
Zion will be a reserve.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see a world where he's not. a reserve.
I don't see how he's not a reserve.
Okay. All right. Now we'll transition over to the East. This one I think is even more interesting than the West.
This one's intriguing.
So this one's going to be tough. I think you can make the case for several people. And there's one name I have that I don't think any of us are going to have written down that I want to argue about here in a little bit. But Fred, we'll start with you this time. You can go ahead and name off your Eastern Conference starters.
I've been screaming his name since the beginning of the season. He's my favorite player in the NBA. I think he's a top 10 player in the NBA. It's Jaylen Brown. First All-Star nod, first of many. I'm talking 10, 20, 30 All-Star games in his career. Jaylen Brown.
Does anybody have his stats up right now?
Yeah,
I got him. 27 points per game, 5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 53% from the field. And, I mean,
makes his team better.
27 points, man. That's tough. That's really, really tough.
Top 10 in the league.
He affects the game.
He with Brown being out, or with Tatum being out, he stepped up and he became that leader that they needed.
Something I heard on the broadcast last night, it was like everybody knew of Jason Tatum's resurgence. Like they were all like, we all were knowing like, okay, Jason Tatum's about to become a superstar.
Right.
Jaylen Brown's was so quiet. Nobody even took notice except for Fred. Let me give you your love, brother. I'll give you your love. The only person I heard like screaming Jaylen Brown's praises from the jump would be Fred. And, but everybody else was kind of just watching this kid, just like, okay, he's a solid second star.
I never thought he would be this, I never thought he would be this good, especially this quick, really.
Whereas now I kind of have to throw him up there with like Kawhi Paul George. Now they're top 5 duo in the league now, where you have to start really putting some respect on their name.
Oh, they were hooping last night together. I mean,
they outperformed in terms of numbers, LeBron
and KD.
Yeah.
But who got the win,
But
that's the difference between LeBron and
keep going, Fred. I just wanted to jump in.
Oh no, we can talk about Jaylen Brown all day. Don't bother me a bit.
He brings so much to that team. With Kemba being out, with Tatum being out, for them to stay above 500, I think you have to give that man the nod.
We need to go back and clip where Caleb was giving you so much heck for Jaylen Brown.
I think the only thing I was really hard on him for was I said he wasn't a top 10 player. I said I don't even know if he was a top 15, and I'd probably take that back now. I mean, maybe. I'd have to really think about it. But that's the only thing I was really hard on him for. I think I did disagree at first about him saying he does more. But, I mean, with the podcast last week, I was like, Fred, I take it back. You were right.
Yeah. So. It's just crazy. Keep going, Fred.
Yeah. I got Trae Young up there with mother guard.
Okay.
He's been way too good this year. I think it's kind of going under the rug too. 27 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds.
Trae.
I really like Trae Young.
What's the record?
10-8. 10-9.
10-9. Hey, DeAndre Hunter's pretty good too. But
behind the Celtics.
For my forwards, I got Kevin Durant, who I picked as my early season MVP, which you can make an argument he could be MVP right now. 30 points a game, 5.5, 7.5 rebounds, shooting 51% from the field.
Number 2.
Balling. Yeah, I agree. Joel Embiid, other guy. 28 points, 11 rebounds, shooting 50% from the field. I think second best center in the NBA. Like I said.
Behind Jokic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Troy disagrees, but
Okay. Then who's your fifth spot?
mm, give me Giannis. I mean, I just think you have to. I mean, he's averaging 28, 5, and 11 on 53%.
That's another thing where it's like where you said AD struggling and his numbers are still good. Like this is kind of a down year for Giannis, and his numbers are still high. I mean, his
MVP numbers.
Yeah, seriously, 27 or basically 28, 11, and 6, 55.
Well, I know Troy just does not like that name.
Yeah, I like him. I just don't. I think he's overhyped. I think he's an overhyped player in the league. You want to talk
Yeah,
about
so-
a guy?
so you-
But
don't-
if you're
wait.
looking at his numbers, he's an all-star.
Wait, you don't think Joel Embiid is the second best center in the NBA though?
I mean, getting
Well,
into that,
okay,
I would
you know-
really have to think about that. But
Well, I don't think AD is a center. Is
I
that
know,
who you're
I
thinking?
know. When going by your, like, I think of Anthony Davis as a.
Okay, well, if you're saying Anthony Davis is a center,
I think
he's
like,
better
I
than
think of
both
bigs
them.
like all into one. Like
Oh.
I throw the power
If
forward
you-
all into one.
I've wanted to bring this up, and I didn't know when the perfect time was. But I think this video is good because we've already talked about all three of these guys. You look at, I think the three favorites for MVP right now: LeBron, Jokic, and Embiid. Who do you have 1 through 3 of favorites to win
In
Who
terms
I
of
think the league has or personally has.
league?
Oh,
Because I think
Jokic and beat LeBron.
LeBron should win MVP. That,
yeah, that's the
Bottom
thing.
line.
Everybody makes the case every year. LeBron should win it just every year. So, but I
should.
think the league wants to. You have two. Like we haven't had centers this dominant.
Brad
so-
Stevens said it best.
What do you say?
He could win it every year. He should
Yeah.
have so many MVP
Yeah.
trophies.
I agree.
But the
No,
league
I
gets
think-
bored talking about the same people.
every league is like that too. I mean,
Yeah, it's
NFL and
stupid.
MLB are the same.
And I think that my argument is this. Obviously, like what we've said is true, but I think from from now until the end of the year, I think Jokic is the favorite because I think you have the possibility of Embiid getting hurt. He's
Mhm.
his body's always like it's not ever really 100% healthy.
See,
and
in
then
my
I think-
opinion, I don't think the Nuggets. I don't think he can win it unless the Nuggets are a top 2 seed in the West. I don't see how that could happen.
Okay, but I
That's
think
just my opinion, though.
and then my argument for LeBron is the league, they could have done it for many, many years. But I think, he's played every game up to this point. And I could see, I'm not saying he will, but I could see him taking more games off as the year goes on, as we get closer to the playoffs. Whereas Jokic could probably be playing games where LeBron's sitting and still putting up good numbers. You know what I mean?
Because they'll
So-
have to. Yeah, Jokic will
Yeah.
have to play in those
Yeah.
games.
So it's like,
But
I think
The Lakers
I
are going
think
to try
Jokic
to
is-
lock in the 1 seed eventually. They're going to ramp it up towards the end of the year, try to get the 1 seed. But if at the end of the year, if the Jazz and the Clippers are still, one game, everybody's like 1 game, I don't think the Lakers will press that hard about getting the 1 seed.
Yeah, so exactly
Unless they
because I could
don't
see
like a
LeBron,
match.
LeBron's really, really smart about protecting his body. So it's like, yeah, I could see him just sitting a couple games here and there, to save himself and make that deep playoff push like he does every single year. But not getting too off topic here. So Fred has Jaylen Brown, Trae Young, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, and Giannis. Interesting. For Troy, why don't you go ahead?
All right. At my 1 guard, I got Trae Young. Again, one of those guys. I love Trae Young. Have for a really long time. 27 points, almost 9 assists, 4 rebounds. Struggles a little bit efficiency-wise when you look at, field goal percentage and all that. But just in terms of what he does on the court, it's very impressive. Bradley Beal is my 2. I think he's top 10 player in the league. I think he doesn't get a lot of respect. Almost averages 35 points, 5 rebounds, almost 5 assists. Still shooting almost 48% from the field. He's had 9 games over 30 points. This guy's a certified bucket, and they've had a lot of COVID issues. But in 9 of his 14 games, he's scoring over 30 points, which is unbelievable. At my 3, I got Jaylen Brown. Again, first-time All-Star. We've already harped on him enough, but Jaylen Brown, he's
You're
turning
welcome.
into an elite 2-way player. And so put some respect on Jaylen Brown's name.
Appreciate that.
My 4 is Kevin Durant. I just think he's unbelievable. He's top 2 in the MVP for me. 30 points, 7.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 52%.
He don't make sense. He just don't make
He really
sense.
doesn't. He's one of those guys that I just watch in awe. And then my center, Joel Embiid, 28.3 points per game, 11 rebounds. Something I did want to hit on with Joel Embiid really quick. He averages 11.5 free throw attempts per game, and which is almost double LeBron. He averages more free throws than Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, Nikola Jokic, James Harden. Kyrie
you can't
Irving,
stop him
Luka
down
Doncic, Damian Lillard, Steph Curry, Trey Young, Bradley Beal, Jaylen Brown, Kawhi Leonard, and that's just to name a few that he averages more. And he averages more free throw attempts than Giannis, who attacks the bucket at will. I just think Joel Embiid is one of those guys. He really frustrates me because he does sell a lot of stuff, and the refs give him a favorable whistle.
Those are
That's
Shaq
just
numbers
something
right there.
I
free
did
throw
want to
attempts.
put on there is that I think he averages way too many free throws because he's one of those guys. Everybody complains he's not in the paint enough, and then you look at his free throw
I was
attempt
about to
numbers.
say you could honestly make the argument he could maybe shoot more if he's like if he didn't shoot as many threes. You know, if he stayed in the paint maybe as much as people like, and he has done that more this year. He's transitioned more into the paint rather than settling for outside.
I just think he flails too much for me, but he's an unbelievable talent.
I think a lot of people flail, but I mean, yeah, I can see
the numbers show
he
gets a favorable whistle.
I agree. I agree.
For the game of basketball, I hope he stays healthy.
Me too.
Seriously,
he's a solid
really
player,
good.
really solid player, and he defends. He defends really well. He was one of my favorites for Defensive Player of the Year, and I think he's right on. Other than Miles Turner,
dude, I never noticed how weird his shot was. Embiid.
Oh, yeah.
He when he goes to shoot, he brings his right leg up. It's like not touching the ground when he's going to shoot. Have you noticed that? It's so weird.
Yeah. And it looks like he's matured a little bit too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, especially without fans though, it's kind of probably different because he feeds off their energy. But
I like him. I like Embiid.
I did too.
He's a lock. I think obviously because he's an MVP favorite. But once again, I'll switch it up just because, just to bring up maybe a little bit of an argument, whatnot. I'll go Bradley Beal at my 1, Jaylen Brown at my 2, Durant 3, Giannis 4, and Embiid 5. I think I don't know. I think Trey Young's obviously going to make it. Now, if he's a starter, I don't know if it's necessarily a lock, but I think it's favorable for him. But I want Bradley Beal to get some love. I think the fans, the players, everybody in the league is realizing this guy is a bucket, and he just doesn't have the supporting cast. And so I want him to get the nod over Trey Young, who Trey Young will make 10 more All-Star games throughout his career. So that's why I'm going to give the nod to Beal here. But
why not both? Move out Giannis.
Giannis putting up good numbers, man, and his team is still in the top 5 of the East, right? I mean, I know their record took a hit. I'll look up their record real quick. But
I think it's 10-9 or 10-8 or something of that nature. 10-9, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, it's they're 11-8, and they're tied with the Pacers for the 3-4 seed. So I mean, when you're putting up those kind of numbers in your team's top 3, you got to get the nod there. And so, yeah, that'll do it for that. There's a name now. I asked this in the West. Is there anybody out there that you could make the case for starting in the East that you didn't name?
Starting?
Yeah.
I mean, Jason Tatum, but I don't know who you'd put him over.
Yeah.
Giannis for me. And then I think Embiid's a lock. I think Beal should be a lock.
Can you make an argument for Zach LaVine?
That's what I was about to say. Can I bring up a name? Zach LaVine.
No.
Look at his stats. He's got to be an all-star this year. He has to be an all-star. Now, if he's a starter or not, that I don't care.
I think that's when they start taking into account wins. I don't know,
man. It's tough. He's
putting another one of those guys. Get him out of Chicago. Get him on a winning team.
27 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 50-40, 87. So it's like he's right at 50-40-90.
I like Chicago's future though.
I do too. I think
Markkanen's played really well this year. Granted, he's shooting 30% from the field, but he's averaging 20 points.
I think Billy Donovan needs to their coach last year was horrible.
Jim Boylan.
Yeah, Billy Donovan's a great coach.
So I'm hoping he can bring a good what's the word I'm looking for here?
Culture,
yeah, culture. I'm hoping he can bring a really good culture for this team, and I mean they're showing bright spots here and there, but the East is tough, and when you don't have a superstar, it's kind of hard to get your foot it's kind of hard to take that step forward at times.
Yep.
But I like LaVine. I think he needs to get some love. Now I don't know if about a starter, but I think you can make the case.
Yeah, reserve maybe.
Yeah. And now actually, in closing, there is a team I want to bring up because I think they only deserve one All-Star, but I think that the way the league is, I think they're going to get 3, and that's the Brooklyn Nets. What do you guys think?
I think Kyrie's not an all-star. I haven't really looked at their numbers just because they're one of those teams that, I respect in terms of what they're doing on the offensive end, but Kyrie, not a great. I mean, they're just so one-dimensional. Kyrie and Harden.
I do not want Harden or Kyrie to get it. I'll be honest.
I agree with you as well.
I don't think Kyrie should. I think
No.
there's a case that you can make for Harden, and I think he's going to get it. But I think if Kyrie gets it, I would be frustrated. Because I think there's guys out there more deserving, like a Brogdon, like you guys mentioned. I don't want to take a spot from Julius Randle, who has worked his tail off and putting up great numbers. And then, Sabonis, I would even want over, a guy like Kyrie. And then, Jeremy Grant is another one of those guys who's putting up incredible numbers. And just, yeah, that's just me. What do you think, Fred?
I don't think they should make it. I think James Harden will be a reserve, but I don't think they'll probably take into account the
little hiatus
missed games. Yeah. So I hope they don't. But I think they'll put Harden in, but we'll see. But I hope they don't. Again, I hope they don't.
It's like I said earlier, the NBA will give the nod to guys that are established superstars, and James Harden is one, and Kyrie. So it's like I fear that Kyrie's going to get it. And the
Brooklyn Nets are a hot team right now, and
exactly.
It'd just be cool to put them in.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, man. We'll see.
Then we'll see all the edits of the only team in the league with 3 All-Stars is the Brooklyn Nets, and everybody's like,
Yeah.
I can see it now. It's gonna happen.
And one more thing I want to close on. I'm going to throw this out here. I want to know what you guys think. It says if they're going to do an All-Star game, they should do a dunk contest. They should do whoever they pick. They're at their practice facility. They're at their own gym. They record however many dunks and send them in, and it's like a tournament style at that point. What do you guys think about that?
But then how many attempts? Because they tried that with horse though too.
Well, I think if you're going to record it and it's obviously off location, don't even record misses. Just do it until you make it. And it's like. That brings more attention to All-Star Weekend. I think it's something you could do. Like a guy get like Zach LaVine to send in like 5 dunks, and then they get to pick what dunk gets to go on to each round. You know what I'm saying? So they see who they're going up against. They see what that guy did for a dunk, and then they pick their dunk to show off, and then they get voted on, and it's like a tournament elimination style. I think it's something fun to do.
Intriguing. It's intriguing.
Yeah. I think there's a conversation to be had.
I think, and I mean, you could, gimmick it up a little bit or switch some things up to, make it work. But I think if you're going to do an All-Star game, bring some attention to All-Star Weekend and bring in a dunk contest, and why not? Why not do something like that?
Dunk contest tournament.
Yeah, why not?
Where the guy, I mean, it's interesting. I would probably vote no, but that's just me.
No.
I'm voting yes just to bring in some more fun. But all right, break down the East real quick. We have Fred's team is Jaylen Brown, Trae Young, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, and Giannis. Troy is Trae Young, Bradley Beal, Jaylen Brown, Durant, and Embiid. And then I had Beal, Jaylen Brown, Giannis, Durant, and Embiid. So for the most part, we all agree. I think there's a good amount there's a handful of guys that are a lock no matter what. But those last couple starting spots for these two conferences, it's going to get interesting.
Spicy. Gets spicy.
Yeah. And we can see guys really make a push here before the starters are announced and all of that. So I'm excited to see what happens here. I'm excited to see what guys are push for and where we're going from here. But overall, I think I hope they do it, but at the same time, I hope they don't do an All-Star game. But no matter what, we're gonna get the All-Stars announced. So I'm excited to see where it goes from here. But any closing remarks before we get out of here?
Go Jaylen Brown.
No, sir.
Yes, sir. Go Jaylen Brown. All right, but yeah, that's gonna do it. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know where you guys have as your starters, East and West, and who you guys like as a first-time All-Star, and guys that you think should get in the starting spot that probably won't. But other than that, yeah, let us know what you guys think down below. Thank you guys so much for joining in. We'll see you guys next time.